In real estate, it's what you don't know that can really sink a deal. We're about to dive into this huge data gap that's popped up thanks to what we're calling the silent buyer. And you know what's crazy? Most agents have no idea this is even happening.
I mean, seriously, just think about that for a second. Imagine if every single time someone took a virtual tour of your listing, you could, I don't know, basically read their mind, see what they loved, what they hated, what they were worried about. It sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie, right?
Okay, so we can't literally read minds. Not yet anyway. But get this, new technology is getting so good it's almost scary how close it can get. We can now actually capture what a buyer is really thinking, and it's a total game changer.
So how is this even possible? Well, to get our heads around it, we got to look at this revolution that's happening with virtual tours. And here's the twist. The very same tech that lets buyers see everything from their couch is, weirdly enough, the exact thing that's making them so much harder to understand.
And look, this isn't some far-off future tech. It's here, right now, and it's everywhere. You've got Google playing with home searches that practically predict what you want. Meta's headsets can scan a room and make it look unbelievably real. All this amazing visualization stuff is fantastic for marketing, right? But it's created this hidden problem that no one saw coming.
And that brings us to the core paradox, the big idea for today. The better and more immersive our virtual tours get, the more buyers can just wander through a property all by themselves, you know? They don't need an agent holding their hand. And what's the result? They give us less and less information. They basically become ghosts, totally silent.
And that right there, that's what we're calling the silent buyer problem. So let's really dig in and see what this hidden data gap looks like in the real world.
Okay, so this is where all our current tools just fall flat. Your analytics report might pop up and say, hey, high engagement for 2 different people. Great, but here's the thing. It has no idea that one of them is a super serious buyer who's already figuring out where their couch goes, and the other is, well, maybe just a nosy neighbor. To your system, they're identical. See the problem?
So if we boil it all down, the silent buyer problem is exactly that. It's the giant canyon between a buyer just looking at a virtual tour and an agent actually knowing what they're really thinking. It's the difference between a click and a client. It's a huge difference.
Get this. A truly serious buyer could spend, say, 12 whole minutes inside a virtual tour. I mean, they're really in there, checking out the closet space, imagining their dog in the backyard. They're making decisions. And then, poof, they're gone. And what does the agent get? Almost nothing. A view count and time on page. All that incredibly valuable thinking, all those buying signals, just vanished into thin air.
All right, so that's the problem. It's a big one. The big question is, what do we do about it? How in the world do we close this gap? Well, the answer lies in learning how to listen for something called buyer intent.
You see, when someone's truly serious, they ask these, let's call them decision stage questions. They're past the basics, like square footage. That's easy to find. They're digging deeper. They want to know about HOA fees, the real monthly cost. They're asking, can I renovate the kitchen? Because in their head, they're already picking out new countertops. They're checking commute times because they're literally picturing their daily life in that house. And here's the kicker. Every single one of those questions, those golden nuggets of information, are completely invisible to your standard analytics. They just don't see it. That is buyer intent. And frankly, it's the only data that really truly matters. So the solution has a name. It's this really cool emerging tech called spatial intelligence. Now that sounds fancy, but what it really is, it's like adding a brain and a set of ears to the virtual tours we're already using. It layers on conversational AI and really smart analytics so it can finally listen. It can capture what a buyer is actually looking at and thinking about.
And listen, this isn't just some concept on a whiteboard. It's happening. There are companies out there, like Path Intelligence, who are already on it. They've basically built this AI assistant that lives inside the tour. It can answer questions 24/7 in, over 22 languages. And the crucial part? It records every single question, every interaction. It's literally capturing all of that priceless buyer intent.
Okay, so what does all this tech actually mean for the agent on the ground? Well, it's a huge shift. It's about moving from being just a salesperson to becoming a super sharp, data-powered consultant.
Let me paint a picture for you. The old way, you make a generic follow-up call. Hey, just checking it on that tour. The new way, the data tells you this buyer spent half their time in the backyard and asked about fencing. So now, your call isn't generic at all. You call up and say, I noticed you were really focused on the backyard. It's an amazing space for summer barbecues.
See the difference? It's a totally different, way more effective conversation.
But this doesn't just change how you talk to buyers. It completely revolutionizes how you talk to your sellers. Imagine this. Instead of telling your seller, we had 47 views this week, which, let's be honest, doesn't mean much. You can say, we had 12 serious inquiries. 3 of them were really focused on the backyard, and 5 were comparing the master bedroom to other listings. Now that is real, actionable intel.
This just flips the whole dynamic on its head. Suddenly, you're not on the defensive, trying to justify your marketing spend. You're a strategist, sitting down with a seller as a partner. You're saying, look, the data shows everyone is asking about the outdated kitchen. Maybe we should talk about some minor staging. It becomes a team effort.
And of course, this completely changes your marketing game. Think about it. If the data comes back and tells you that, hey, 80% of the really hot leads are coming from out of state, well, where are you going to put your advertising budget? It's not a guessing game anymore. You know exactly where to focus your efforts for the biggest bang for your buck.
So you add it all up. Smarter conversations, hyper-targeted marketing, it all points in one direction. The future of this business isn't just about having the flashiest visuals, it's about getting really, really good at listening.
You know, when you think about it, this is just the next natural step. We started with still photos, right? Then we moved to these passive click-through virtual tours. The next big leap is obvious, making those tours smart, turning them from a digital open house into a powerful intelligence-gathering machine. Because let's be real, here's the bottom line. Everyone's buzzing about AI in real estate, but an AI is just a dumb robot without good data. And it turns out, virtual tours might just be the biggest, richest, most untapped goldmine of buyer data we have. It's just sitting there, waiting to be used.
There's a quote that just perfectly nails this entire idea. It goes, "Great visuals attract attention, and great data converts it into results." It's that simple. The pretty pictures get them in the door. The smart data is what actually gets the deal done.
So, I want to leave you with one final question to think about for your own business. In this new world of silent buyers and digital walkthroughs, is your data really pulling its weight? Or is all that priceless insight, all that true buyer intent, just slipping right through your fingers every single day?